historic era of Astros baseball. Keuchel, along with Altuve, suffered through back-to-back 100-loss seasons, and now on the 100-win side of things in back-to-back years. Keuchel said, "I've seen it all, and I'm so glad to be a part of this," and he really enjoys coming to the ballpark every single day. And AJ Hinch, guys, also said he's proud of this group. He actually took a moment today, a short team meeting he held, saying, "Enjoy this, but also know that it's a step in the right direction for us. It's the direction we want to go." He also challenged him, TK, saying 5 games left to go in the regular season. With 100 wins, we have a chance at the club record for wins. So they'll chase the 1998 club with 102 and not take these games lightly.
You're right about that, Julia. That's pretty much what is left on the table for the Houston Astros here over the last 5 games is their place in franchise history, currently sitting at 100 wins. Last year 101, 98, 102. They've already wrapped up the 2 seed. They already know their opponent, and they've already wrapped up now the AL Western Division. And here is your Astros starting lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. A little different lineup on the day after a clinching day, as Jake Marisnick will be the leadoff hitter in center field, followed by Tony Kemp playing second. The DH is Carlos Correa. Good to see him back in the lineup after missing 5 games. Yuli Gurriel will play shortstop. Tyler White at first base. Kyle Tucker gets a start in left. J.D. Davis at third base. Max Stassi behind the plate. And Miles Straw is in right field.
Sean Reed Foley gets a start for the Toronto Blue Jays here, their final home game of the season. He has 6 starts on the season. Carries a 2-4 record in those 6 games. 30 innings pitched, 37 strikeouts to 20 walks. He is heavy on the fastball and backs it up with a slider.
So here we go. We're underway on a Wednesday afternoon, late afternoon contest here in Toronto. The shadows already in between the pitcher's mound and home plate as Jake gets the chance to be the leadoff hitter today. And showing George Springer he's not the only one who can swing at that first pitch. Didn't work out for Jake here as he's down to the count 0-2. We're going to have some fun today. It's not really necessarily about breaking down X's and O's and, you know, who might be matching up out of the bullpen against another hitter. AJ kind of knows his lineup for pitchers today. He's going to use an all bullpen day. He's not really going to try and match up. Toronto's out of things at this point. They already know where they're going to finish. The Astros looking for 103 wins, but they also have 4 more games to get there. So it's going to be a day that is going to be filled with fun, and it's going to be a little laid back leading into what should be an incredible post-game celebration.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are a little anxious to get to the post-game just because of the sheer joy of it. They didn't really have that opportunity because of the East Coast, West Coast situation. But it's kind of interesting going into a game knowing that you haven't celebrated your division championship yet.
It's time to party, say the boys after this game. Reddick and Springer enjoying a day off. It's 2-2 to Jake Marisnick. Jake's had a double and a triple in 2 at-bats in this series, and today getting a chance to lead things off.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I might be dealing with the issue of Tarantism tonight.
2-2 pitch is set in the air into right center field. Playable. Randall Grichuk and Kevin Pillar. It's the center fielder Pillar who takes the call on the catch. Also a special day here in Toronto, Blummer. Before the game, the Toronto Blue Jays announcing that their manager John Gibbons will not be back after this season. And he received a standing ovation, taking the lineup card out. AJ would greet him and give him a hug. It was a really nice moment.
It was. He is a very good baseball guy. Even for us who go down and listen to some of the conversations that he has or had the conversations on the field with him. He has always left everybody with a great impression, understands the game, but he's also a very good people person. And I got a little choked up. It was a little tingly when he was walking off the field, and these hometown fans gave him a great cheer.
Yeah, they really appreciate having him around for the second stint as the Blue Jays manager. He was here back in 04 as the interim manager, and then took over through 08, and then back again for 13 through 18 for another 6 years. Tony Kemp sends one to left field, and making the play for out number 2 is Billy McKinney.
Gives you an idea of the mutual respect across the league from John Gibbons as AJ with an embrace.
Yeah, it was a cool moment. I know Gibby is probably trying to stay behind those sunglasses and not show the emotion, but this is going to be an emotional day for him. He has noticed as he's been taking pitchers out during this last homestand, and today is the final home game here for the Blue Jays at the Rogers Center. He's been noticing the crowd's appreciation. And one of the storylines, and we said we're not going to focus too much on X's and O's, but one of the storylines that is going to be interesting for us to follow is the guy at the plate here and how he does on this road trip, Carlos Correa.
Yeah, all the reports say that he is feeling very good. Good idea to have the opportunity to DH him too, keep him off this turf out here, which could create some issues possibly. But put him in the box, let him get that swing down, because we know he can play defense. It's really been the bat all season long where we've had a little bit of concern, but with him hopefully healthy, we should see some pretty good swings.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing your analysis for what you see from him in these at-bats. Obviously, some of the at-bats.
Well, already aggressive early on a fastball. That's a huge deal for me.
And a 2-1 count here. Correa will play a couple of days, probably get a day off in that Baltimore series and play a couple of more to try and ramp up and be ready and healthy for that postseason run. Tried to hold up on the slider and goes around. It's 2-2.
How about with the roof open in this 4 o'clock start? Some shadows from the light standards coming into effect.
23-year-old right-hander Sean Reed Foley facing the Astros for the first time in his career. And he misses with a fastball. He's a little amped up. Saw his numbers normally 93, 94. That one came in at 96.
Yeah, today is, between both teams, is kind of a showcase day for some of these guys.
And a slider gets a swing and a miss from Carlos Correa to end the first inning. A couple of flyouts and a strikeout. We'll head to the bottom of the first. As the Blue Jays manager lines up this way, Billy McKinney in left field, Kevin Pillar in center, the DH Justin Smoke. Randall Grichuk is in right field. Rowdy Tellez is the first baseman. Aledmus Diaz at third. Reese McGuire behind the plate. Richard Urania and John Birdie round out your Jays lineup.
Devo is going to get the start for the Houston Astros. This getaway day here in Toronto before heading out to Baltimore. 47 games this season, 2-2 record. 48 strikeouts and 48 2/3. If everything goes well, try and get a couple of innings out of Davinsky.
Billy McKinney, the leadoff batter, he accounted for the Jays' lone run in last night's game with a solo home run in the third inning. It was McKinney's 6th home run of the season, acquired by the Blue Jays from the New York Yankees earlier this summer. Saw Devo before the game. He was actually walking over at the same time from the hotel as I was, and kind of joking with him because starters aren't supposed to necessarily always talk on their start day. So I just wanted to make sure I was okay if I talked to him. But he was ready to go. Nah, he was total Devo. But it's funny watching guys warm up too, because there's just a different comfort zone for relievers to be on the mound in that first inning. I know, when Brad Peacock, even though he was a former starter, got that spot start in Seattle, he warmed up in the bullpen and then came out of the bullpen for the start. We watched Devo come in from his bullpen session as a starter, and he put the the jacket on.
The hoodie on.
Yeah, you don't see starters do that. There's just a certain rhythm, I guess, that relievers get into that makes it a little unusual for them to be this opening pitcher, if you will. Devo behind the first batter, 3-1. It'll be Devo, as Plummer mentioned, maybe for as many as 2, and then you're going to see AJ go kind of 1 inning at a time for the rest of the way, including Lance McCullers Jr. We should see Lance out there today.
That would be great. You know, we talked about him about a week ago, seeing, you know, will he be a part of that postseason roster? But a lot of it has to do with being able to come into a big league ball game and face big league hitters.
Opening walk for Chris Davinsky, and here is the defense behind him. It is a different looking defense today, with Miles Straw getting his first major league start in right field. Jake Marisnik is in center. He will help Straw with positioning if he doesn't have the scouting report down. In left field is Kyle Tucker. The middle of the infield is a little different today. Yuli Gurriel and Tony Kemp in the middle. The corners are J.D. Davis and Tyler White, and Max Stassi behind the plate. Stassi's first start behind the dish since August. Kevin Pillar, first pitch swinging, and fouls one just above us to the left.
Wow, that doesn't happen too often.
We might go another season without a foul ball in our visiting or home booth this year.
That'd be okay with me.
That last one was catchable. Had a little arc to it. But yeah, the line drives I'm not a fan of.
No.
There's a ball in the right field. Miles Straw comes on and makes the play. 4 out, number 1. Astros wrapping up this series with the Blue Jays last night in the 4-1 win. It was the first time in franchise history they won back-to-back games against Toronto, which is hard to imagine. They had only won one other series back in 2011 against these Blue Jays.
Especially when you just look at the numbers on the paper and take the wins and loss out of it, you would just assume with the runs they've been scoring that they had a couple of back-to-back W's, if not a sweep or two.
Here is Justin Smoke, team leader in pretty much every offensive category.
StatCast AI, powered by AWS, gives you an idea of why that exaggerated shift is being played against Justin Smoke. Basically put all 4 guys in that orange area on the right-hand side. A lot of pulled baseballs.
With the Astros clinching the AL West last night, back-to-back division titles for just the second time. Also won back-to-back-to-back division titles, 97, 98, and 99. Also won the NL West back at 80 and 86, and another division title in 2001. Well, the Astros enjoying their 8th division title in team history and back-to-back 100-win seasons. 3 overall in franchise history, and we've seen 2 of them the last 2 years. Cardinals the last team to go back-to-back with 100, and that was in 04 and 05. So the Astros, a truly historic year in so many different ways. Devo with a 2-1 count to Justin Smoke. Smoke came on in a big spot in last night's game as a pinch hitter. He batted with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the 7th inning in a 4-1 game. Ryan Presley at that point relieved Colin McHugh and was able to pick up a big strikeout. Presley continues to have a great year with the Astros. Foul tip caught by Stassi. Devo picks up a strikeout. And that's 2 away in the first.
It's been a while since we've been able to talk about the COD, and that was a good one from Devo. That circle change on the inside corner, tough. Down and in on our MD Anderson strike zone. But you could see Justin Smoke having to hang on. Wasn't able to square it up.
That'll bring up Randall Grichuk. Well, Devo's it kind of knows, and it's a difficult spot because he was, basically the team MVP 2 years ago. Last year appeared in 62 games and had great numbers, made it to the All-Star game for the first time. And this year it's been a struggle at times. It's his 48th game in that ERA above 4. Just hasn't been the Devo we've seen the last couple of years. And right now he knows, based on how he's been used lately, that it's uncertain whether he'll be on that postseason roster. So, whatever he can do here in the final few days to show AJ he's found it again is probably a good thing for Devo, if not for the postseason, but certainly for the future.
No, I agree on that, especially the way the bullpen has kind of shook out here in the last month or so. But Devo is a guy, when right, is an absolute weapon. Today's going to be an interesting day for Brent Strom, I feel. I feel like he's going to be watching some of these pitchers intently.
Billy McKinney steals his first base. That's his first major league stolen base as he gets in there ahead of the throw by Stassi. The throw got away. Tony Kemp was covering.
See the jump, pretty good jump. Stassi picked that ball and threw a pretty good ball down there to handle. But the glove in the way of the runner before it gets the baseball makes it kind of tough to make that catch.
Up high, 2-2 to Grichuk. Blue Jays playing their final home game today. Astros will head to Baltimore after this game, and they will beat the Orioles into town. Baltimore playing a day-night doubleheader in Fenway today. This ball hit well to left field, and this ball is going to be gone. Randall Grichuk tying Justin Smoke for the team lead in home runs with 25 as he takes a 2-2 pitch out to left field. 2-0 Toronto.
There was a changeup on the outside corner, and Grichuk just gets around it, barrels it up, and one-hands it out of this place.
Strong man that can one-hand it and almost get it into the second deck.
Yeah.
Well, Grichuk and Smoke now with 25. They also have 20 home runs out of Teoscar Hernandez and 21 out of Kendrys Morales. Here's Rowdy Tellez. Big swing, no contact. It's 1-1. Tellez, young 23-year-old first baseman, getting a couple of starts in this series. Did not start against Dallas on Monday. This is the fastball. It's 1-2. It's 9 home runs on the season allowed by Devo. Just over 44 innings. And a called third strike. So that'll do it for the Blue Jays. They take the early 2-0 lead on the home run by Randall Grichuk. Won the West in 2018, a little different than last year. This year was a pitching-dominated roster with Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole setting the tone.
Yeah, pretty amazing in the offseason. They're able to go out there and get that rotation that much better with Garrett Cole. The back end of the bullpen got extremely good, but this has been Alex Bregman on the offensive side. The offense would be tough to compare to what they did in last year, 2017, but Alex is one of the stars that shine the brightest in this lineup for the Houston Astros.
And then winning so many games on the road against teams within their division, 30-8 overall. And that helped them separate things between themselves and the Oakland A's, as Yuli Gurriel is quickly down to the count 0-2. But you could make the argument that of the regular players, Yuli's numbers are pretty similar to last year. But maybe other than Alex, nobody else had as good a year this year as they did last year. Certainly Altuve with the MVP, and Springer, Correa, Marwin. And the Astros this year had that incredible starting and relief ERA. By far the best staff in baseball in 2018.
Absolutely. The road numbers are, I don't even know how to put a word to what they do on the road. It's incredible.
5-game difference overall against the Oakland A's, and did very well against Oakland in the Coliseum. Right now, there are 5.5 game separation between the A's and the Astros. We don't have to worry about games back anymore, but that goes to show you the head-to-head matchup went a long way into wrapping things up for Houston this year, as Tyler White takes a couple of pitches outside. JV relaxing. He'll get to start in game 2 of that series in Baltimore. We'll still see Cole one more time tomorrow night, and then Verlander on Friday. Strike call to Tyler White. It's 2-1. Mentioned the Astros facing the Orioles. The Orioles playing a day-night doubleheader today at Fenway. Lost game 1, 19-3.
Oh, you hate to laugh, but you just know the pain they're in right now.
That is going to be a long day out there. Going to play another game tonight around 7 at Fenway, and then get on a flight in the wee hours of the morning, getting into Baltimore and getting ready for the Astros tomorrow, as Sean Reed Foley has looked pretty good here, striking out 3 in a row, including 2 in this inning.
What are they sitting at now? 112 losses?
The Orioles are at 112. Yeah, 145 and 112.
Oof.
If the Red Sox, with that win in game 1 of the day-night doubleheader, they're now 16-2 against Baltimore this year. They went 15-4 against Toronto, did the Red Sox, and they're 16-2 against the last place Orioles, who are about to set a mark for the most games back ever since divisional play began in 1969. They are now 61.5 games back. Kyle Tucker at the plate. Tucker still looking for his first big league home run after being named Astros Minor League Player of the Year and also Baseball America's AAA Player of the Year. Hasn't translated to the numbers he would like at the big league level. Kyle 8 for 54. Does have a couple of extra base hits, a double and a triple. We may see that first big league home run at some point here in the final 5 games of 2018.
Yeah, he better be trying. That's what I want to see. I want to see a young man trying to get the barrel out and launch. Do some of those great things he did in AAA, bring it here to the show.
Might be able to see with the jerseys rippling a little bit, a very breezy day here in Toronto. Could impact the JMI on this sunny afternoon, which has turned a little shady during the course of this afternoon.
I've taken off my jacket and put it on several times already. It's hot and it's cold, and it's hot and it's cold, but it's nice.
Called third strike. We'll check in with Julia here as the game progresses, but the Astros out as they have the side struck out.
Straw poll today. It's on Twitter. You should be following us by now at ATT Sportsnet SW. Which of the Astros regular season accomplishments over the past 2 years do you consider the greatest? Is it the 2 straight ALS titles, the 201 wins, or the 107 road wins that they've compiled? Vote. We'll let you know which one of those wins a little bit later. TK.
So we got 100-win seasons back to back. 107 road wins. That's that's crazy.
It is crazy.
They've already shattered the old record by 3, and they have 5 games to go. This team they just go on the road, and whatever happens to them when they go on the road, it's something special.
And it was still amazing to me watch what they did on the road last year, and then getting into the playoffs and playing so well at home.
Yes. 8-1 at home last year.
Yeah, it was completely different. Had a rough stretch there going into Yankee Stadium. But when they played at home, they put on an absolute show in the playoffs.
Well, I will say this. I mean, it's a team that genuinely likes each other.
Yep.
I think you watched last night's video at 2:10 in the morning or whatever it was, after 2 o'clock in the morning, and most of the team was still hanging out watching that Mariners-A's game as Reese McGuire grounds back to Devo. And you can speak on this, having been a player as long as you were. But when you are on the road and you really like the guys, that helps.
It really does, and it always seemed to for me at least to coincide. Now watching the Astros and hanging around them for a full season, again, is that winning teams do like each other. I mean, you're going to have some issues throughout the course of the season, but these guys, it really feels like it's way better than anything I was ever a part of or anything I've ever heard of or ever seen, is the way these guys in the last 2 years have really come together and have each other's back. Because we see it every day when these guys get a hit, they're making a sign. Their first instinct is to look in the dugout and recognize the dugout for their success, and the dugout reciprocates. That's what's incredible to me, and that's what's a lot of fun to watch these guys. But it doesn't shock me to see them posting on social media that they're having a party with each other at 2 o'clock in the morning to celebrate a Western Division championship.
That's something I've noticed about this group is the amount of time they spend together on the road, and that's changed in the last couple of years. And a big reason why was guys like Brian McCann, Josh Reddick that joined this team with that veteran leadership. They knew how important it was to bond, and they did a lot of that over the last 2 years, and you see it now.
Let's talk more about that when we come back. Devo, 1-2-3 second.
Having just before the break, this team getting together, a large group of them, including their wives and girlfriends, meeting in a conference room at the team hotel, ordering food, playing music, and watching the Seattle Mariners and Oakland A's battle it out to find out that the Seattle Mariners will go on to win, helping them win the division last night. A fun night. If you're HOU AT TOR, he actually missed out, guys. He couldn't handle it anymore. It was getting really late. He knew there was a somewhat of a day game, so he watched the end in his room. But for the most part, this group was together. They spend a lot of time together on the road, as I was saying earlier, and that is something I noticed when guys like Josh Reddick, Brian McCann got here. They made sure to spend those off days on the road together, somehow get everyone at someone's house. Brian McCann even hosted them at his place in Atlanta. Reddick had a few outings, just coming up with ideas where they could have team dinners and team outings and really create some memories off the field together. You see why the chemistry is so strong with this group, and that started at the beginning of last year, started in spring training for them, and that's continued. And the guys that have come in noticed that right away. They notice how tight everyone is, and they want to be a part of it.
Yeah, that was one thing I noticed, Julia, last year, my first year with the team. It was early on a road trip, and Brian McCann organized a group dinner for the team, and I'm like, that's cool. Maybe the pitchers and catchers getting together. They're like, no, everybody on the team was there, as J.D. Davis sends one into right field. You rarely see a team where every single person is in on the dinner together. And then last night, here's the scene. Home run, Chris Herman, Tomwolk guy right there in Houston. Helps out his hometown team with a home run for the Mariners. And that's like at 2:10 in the morning. That's a big group.
That is a big group. They're getting after it. And you have to celebrate these things. In baseball, in all sports, the opportunity to do what these guys are doing is few and far between. That's why I thoroughly enjoy watching them celebrate, and I look forward to being down and watching them celebrate again, because, gosh, it does not happen that often. But the way they've put this ball club together to create this window of time where they're going to play such good baseball for probably a couple more years, I would think, is remarkable.
Yeah, they are poised to have quite a run. They've already started that run with a world championship and a 100-plus win season this year. I mentioned earlier that has not happened since 1990 when the A's accomplished that, and only 5 times in 50 years. You're talking about a team that hasn't quite accomplished what they've wanted to this year, but they've already done something that hasn't happened in baseball in over a quarter century. Stassi with a 2-2 count. Astros still looking for their first base runner against the right-hander Sean Reed Foley.
Well, Julia could probably back me up on this, because we started in 2013 and 14, and that was really the lean years when the 100-loss seasons were coming around. And you'd get on the plane, and it would be headphones and computers, and nobody would really talk. It was kind of a quiet flight. That culture has definitely changed in the last 2 or 3 years, where we get on the plane and those guys are having a good time back there, getting on that bird and going from city to city.
I'd say that it's also what you notice is they have their groups, but there's not groups. They all hang out with each other. You know, you'll see them. You'll see a different group of guys together in front of their lockers every day if you were to walk in there. It's just that everyone gets along with everyone. And it all goes back to Altuve, who bounces from locker to locker. Everybody talks to him. But that's how this entire culture has been built in this clubhouse. It's just how comfortable everyone can be around everyone that's on the roster and everyone that's on the team plane and on the bus. But yeah, you're right, Blummer. That's definitely changed over the years, where the team was changing so much back then. And then you brought the core in, and the Correas and the Bregmans, Springer, Altuve really got tight. And then you brought in some guys who had veteran presence, and they knew what it was like to when things were going good and what they could do with it. And that's what we're seeing now.
Miles Straw almost with his first big league hit, just barely thrown out, or was he? AJ going to hold up for a second to see if there is video to the contrary. Now he said we're good. So no hitter through 3 for Sean Reed Foley. Rankings are driven by GMC. George Springer making a 5-star catch, a big moment at Comerica Park. Winning that game against the Tigers. Josh Reddick doing the same. The outfield for the Astros has a .995 fielding percentage. That is the best in Astros history. And some of these catches have been spectacular.
They really have, and most of them have come from Jake Marisnick, but it's impressive that Jake he's out there basically half the time as a normal center fielder, yet when he has the opportunity, it always seems to come through. It's been a lot of fun to watch these guys, and they're all such good athletes in the outfield and cover a ton of ground.
Yeah, Jake is fun to watch play defense. You don't say that about a lot of outfielders. You hear that more often with an infielder because they get more action on the infield, but Jake is a lot of fun to watch in the outfield, the way he can go and get the baseball. He's going to take out his cheat sheet here to make sure he knows where to play, because the kid about to make his major league debut, Cionel Perez on the mound, has never had a big league at bat. Cionel will face John Birdie, but the lefty Perez in the game.
Be the 8th appearance this season for Cionel Perez. He's clean shaven now. Still got good flow coming out the back of the hat. Fastball, slider.
Line drive to center field, and Jake, reading that scouting report, had him lined up perfectly. That's why you read the scouting report. Guys do their advanced work on even a guy making his big league debut, hit the ball hard, but he lines out to Jake.
Plenty of information out there. It's how you use it, and that was used appropriately.
A different look, you're right, for Cionel.
Hey, who's already young enough as it is. He looks even younger now.
He does. Now facing the top of the order, Billy McKinney. McKinney walked, stole a base, and scored a run his first time up. Chris Davinsky out of the game after 2 innings. Only allowed the 1 hit. Unfortunately, it was a 2-run home run. Evo struck out a couple, didn't walk in, or walked 1 rather. The McKinney walk. So now it's Cionel Perez, and you would think AJ is going to go extended innings with him. Cionel behind 3-0.
Not an easy job to be down in that bullpen for as long as Cionel has and be able to come out and throw strikes. Means he's been working pretty hard in between appearances. But it's also a unique opportunity for some of these younger guys in the bullpen to also be in a bullpen that, as good as it is, with enough firepower out there, maybe learn a little bit of something out there.
Yeah, the lack of use is the concern, is your command when you're not used often. A walk here from Cionel with 1 out. Don't miss your chance at postseason tickets. A limited number of single game tickets for the opening round of the playoffs at home will go on sale to the general public this Friday at 9 a.m. Tickets are only available online and by phone at 1-877-9-ASTROS. Visit astros.com/postseason for more info. 1 out walk to Billy McKinney. Here's Kevin Pillar. Pillar flied out to right his first time up. With that A's loss last night to Seattle, not only did it wrap up the division for the Astros, but it also moved the Yankees a little closer to wrapping up home field advantage in the wild card game. They have a magic number of 2 to clinch home field advantage. The other spots have already been decided. The 1 seed's Boston, the 2 seed are the Astros, and the 3 seed is Cleveland. And the Astros know that they will have home field advantage against any team in the postseason other than Boston. And that includes any team in the National League for the World Series. We'll see how many home games are played at Minute Maid Park in 2018's postseason. But if they do get to a Game 7 of the World Series, as opposed to being on the road like last year, they can have their home fans in a frenzy.
Oh my.
Ground ball towards third, could be 2. JD to Tony Kemp, and the turn in time to get Pillar. Nice turn around the horn. JD Davis, Tony Kemp to Tyler White to end the inning.
AT&T Sportsnet app from iTunes or Google Play, or visit attsportsnet.com to stream on your computer. Log in with your cable account and you're all set. Available for those with AT&T Sportsnet in their TV subscription. Blackouts and territorial restrictions apply. A good, fun story here with Javier Bracamonte, the bullpen catcher for the Astros for many years now. Fans at Minute Maid Park love him because of how great he is with the fans. But look at him on the road. This is right here at Rogers Center, helping out a kid. Not just playing catch with a kid, but working with the grips, teaching the kid a little something. That is Javier.
Yes, it is. Got to get that good arm angle, pick up some spin.
That's awesome.
That has gone. That's all over the internet now.
Yeah, but he does that everywhere.
He does.
Yeah. No, he's good people.
I asked him if he had seen how many times it had been tweeted out, and he's just always so taken aback. He's very humble and not really doing it for any of that. He really enjoys going out there early. First guy on the field, and takes a little time to spin with the fans.
Now, one of the best, Javier Bracamonte, bullpen catcher here for the Astros, and this is up and in, and actually clips Jake. So the Astros have their first base runner. Sean Reed Foley getting through the lineup the first time without allowing a runner. What was that ball for? And not a clip. He had 2 and 1 on the board. I guess it was 3 and 0. So a 4-pitch walk to Jake. Here's Tony Kemp. Yeah, it would be nice for the Astros to get a hit. And other than that, winning would be also a bonus. But a hit would be at least.
No, let's start with the hit.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
Tony Kemp batting in the 2 spot. Flied out to left his first time up. Jake on the move and head first slide. And Jake is in safely. Chad Fairchild had to hang on to the shortstop Urania covering the bag before he made the safe call.
Jake aggressive early, putting his head down, going for second base. Perfectly timed ejecto helmet to show off the payload.
Halo is flowing.
Always.
It's getting borderline out of control.
That's the way they like it.
So good for Jake, picking up stolen base number 6. My guess is that he may tell George Springer that he's now tied with him in stolen bases.
Yeah, there might be a little incentive for Jake to be running when he gets on base, huh?
Because George usually knows who he's passing on the team list. So now in reverse, Jake just caught his buddy George.
Considering how that friendship is, I'm sure they are both very well aware of it.
Two 2-0 the count to Tony Kemp.
Might be a fun conversation after a couple bottles of champagne.
It's going to be on. Kemp into right field, hit it on the line, but hit it to Randall Grichuk. Jake's going to tag, and hey, there's some aggressive base running right there. Jake Marisnick tagging on Grichuk and getting into third base with less than 2 outs.
Good hustle, but no player does more. It's presented by HEB. Carlos Correa, 2 wins in Toronto last year. He lit it up for a .600 batting average and some damage. 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. Kind of a good place for him to try and get back in the swing of things. A place where he is very comfortable and had some success in the past. And again, more of this game is about his approach, some of the aggressive swings he takes. It's not necessarily about the result. Although if he does go deep right here, we'd all be really happy about it. But it's how he feels after the game.
And he's got an RBI opportunity here thanks to Jake. He puts the ball in play, and this is going to score a run, and the Astros will be on the board with a run and a hit. Carlos Correa taps one about 25 feet. It works out for an RBI single. The Astros now down 2-1.
Told you he does damage here. Ball is ripped down the third base line for an RBI.
Can't wait for those StatCast numbers. Hey, Jake got it going on, though, with the stolen base, and then
put himself in a great spot, didn't he? As soon as he recognized the catcher leave home plate, he said, I can beat him there. There goes the shutout and the no-hitter.
55-mile-an-hour exit velo.
Boom.
Sean Reed Foley loses his no-hitter, and that's all for this game as John Gibbons will go early to his bullpen. Reed Foley gets a nice hand, and you know Gibby will as well. We'll have a new pitcher when we come back. Toronto is Joe Biagini.
We've seen Biagini in this series so far. This will be his second appearance. He has 4 starts on the season, but this will be his 48th game. 52 strikeouts, 220 walks in 69 2/3 innings pitched, averaging 95 miles an hour on his fastball. Change-up, curveball, and a slider behind that fastball.
You know, we said not a lot at stake today for the Astros with their seed already determined and the Western Division already wrapped up, but individual things like Yuli riding an 11-game hitting streak, that don't matter. He wants to try and keep that going. Struck out his first time up, and Yuli fouls one back.
Yeah, he's always going to be aggressive in the accounts. I'm with you. It's not a good day for him to be somnambulant up there. He's got to be aggressive.
He has been hitting line drives everywhere lately. Yuli with 6 consecutive multi-hit games. Playing a little shortstop today, showing Lourdes he's not the only Gurriel brother that can play shortstop. Down to the count here, 0-2. Unfortunately, Lourdes pulling a hamstring in the first inning of the first game of this series and out for the rest of the year. And with Gurriel, they don't really DL a guy at this point of the season, but with Gurriel out, the Blue Jays brought up John Birdie for his first major league game today, a 28-year-old who's been in the organization his whole career. Birdie hit a line drive his first time up, but kind of a cool moment in between during the pitching change during our commercial break, because John Gibbons was out there on the mound getting a big ovation. Gave the kid a little love for the big screen here in Toronto.
Yeah, the big screen's out in center field. John recognizes right here, but he puts Birdie right in front of it, giving him some airtime in front of the home fans. But that is all John Gibbons right there.
He's the best.
Recognizing basically a lifer in the minor leagues, getting an opportunity on the big stage. And then, of course, he ambles back to the dugout and gets even more appreciation.
Yeah, good thing they don't have the sprint leaderboard for managers making pitching changes, because our buddy John Gibbons would be near the bottom. Gibby's going to be heading back to Texas, and we wish him the best. Hopefully our paths will cross again in the future. He is a great baseball guy.
Yeah, he's worth it.
Here's Tyler White. Tyler struck out his first time up. Astros on the board with that little tap base hit by Carlos Correa to score Jake Marisnick. Give Jake all the credit for the run in this inning. A stolen base, an aggressive tag up getting the third, and then scoring on that little infield hit. 1-1 the count. White sends one high in the air to left field. Billy McKinney drifts towards the wall and makes the play in front of the warning track for the final out. Astros on the board. It's now 2-1 Toronto.
Police Department for the annual Badges and Bases H-Town Rundown presented by Chenier. This family-friendly 5K and 10K run will take place next Saturday with proceeds benefiting both organizations. To register, visit astros.com/run.
Bottom of the fourth inning begins with a strike to Justin Smoke. Smoke turning around to hit right-handed against the lefty C&L Perez in his second inning of work. Perez ended up getting a double play ground ball to get out of the last inning and delivers another strike, and C&L quickly ahead 0-2. It was Chris Stavinsky for 2 innings, and now C&L Perez in his second inning of work. Ground ball towards the left side. Yuli gets a first chance at short and makes it for out number 1. Yuli's played all the positions on the infield now this year as he gets a chance to play shortstop today. Last year he was almost exclusively at first base, and now AJ's not afraid to move him around. I mean, today's a little different lineup. I'm not sure you're going to see him at short in a game that you're trying to wrap up a division, but second and third he's looked fine and getting a chance at short today.
Yeah, why not? You never know what's going to happen in some of these ball games down the stretch or in the playoffs. If you decide to take an extra pitcher in a series and you have a guy like Yuli, you know you can move him all over the infield, which is a bonus.
And Yuli's had his best year defensively at first.
Yeah.
I think moving around the infield is good for him. I think he got a little bored just playing first base only for the first couple of years, or at least for last year.
You can get into a little bit of a rut. I would have no idea. You know, I've moved around all over the place, but I really feel it was beneficial to see the baseball off the bat from several different positions. And it's also good for the footwork because you have to change that up position to position. But he's looked much more athletic over at first base this year.
Randall Grichuk has the 2 runs for the Blue Jays with a 2-run home run his first time up. 25 home runs now for Grichuk. Rosenberg, Texas. And goes down swinging. C&L Perez looking pretty good here. Gets 2 outs in the 4th inning and picks up his first strikeout. It is time to play Name That Astro, brought to you by Nissan. Here are today's clues. 3 clues today, the most we've had of any Name That Astro in this series. Speedy Gonzalez, climbing the ladder, stirs the drink. You know the answer, send it to @ATT Sportsnet SW. Here is Rowdy Tellez taking a pitch outside for ball 1. '23-year-old first baseman coming in with a healthy batting average, 19 for 56. He's now hitting .333 after striking out his first time up. CNL down in the count 3-0. And a 4-pitch walk as Perez loses Rowdy Tellez. 2 outs in the 4th. Bring up Aledmus Diaz. CNL's been back and forth a little bit this year with the Astros. 4th different stint when he was called up in September. Last pitched a week ago against the Mariners. Check swing foul back. It's 1-1. Blue Jays 39-41 at home. They had a chance to have a winning record at home this year. They were exactly 500 before this series started, but the Astros winning the first 2 games. Not a lot of runs scored from this Blue Jays offense. 5-3. Astros winning the first game and 4-1 last night. Stays 1-2. Don't forget, following this game, we will have wall-to-wall coverage of the post-game celebration. The Astros will be celebrating their 2nd consecutive AL West crown and also a 100-win season for the 2nd consecutive year. We'll hear from A.J. Hinch as he addresses his group. Julian Blummer will be down in the clubhouse gathering interviews and having a few liquids poured on them over the course of the half hour or so after the game. I like the look for Gaddy next to AJ today. It's a serious look he's got going on. Gaddis not playing today.
How small do those glasses look on that face?
That dude deserves to be in a rock band.
He's already in a rock band of 1.
Where is ZZ Top when you need him? Love that guy. What a great guy he is. The gentle bear, Evan Gaddis.
Where did he get those? I saw him wear those in Detroit, and I thought maybe he just found them.
Like on the side of the road? Or
the fact that he's put them on again means they're his, right?
Not only are they his, but he likes them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a choice he is going back to.
Small glasses for a big face.
Yeah, maybe the beard just makes the glasses look small.
Maybe so.
Oh, my goodness. 2-2. And Diaz stays alive.
I think my post-game goal might be to fondle the beard.
Okay.
I want to get my hands up in that thing.
Everybody needs goals.
Just like that. I want to.
I thought you were going to say to take the sunglasses and wear them to shield your eyes from the champagne.
You've seen the size of my skull. Those things would look like wee little eyeglasses on my head.
Diaz keeps the battle going here. Now it's 3-2. The group outside of the dugout grows a little larger. That fronts the camera well where Julia hangs out. It's now Rondon, Altuve, and Bregman. Springer was out there earlier with Verlander. It's kind of like the deck seat for the dugout. Foul ball heads that way. Those guys are going to have to move. George has now made his way inside the dugout and is making Josh James laugh, which is a good thing. What a great day it is.
Yes.
If you're not in the game, you know you're celebrating a championship, division title, and you get to just chill for 9 innings. J.D. Davis on a tough hop makes a good play to get Aledmys Diaz to end the inning. So a walk and a good battle won by Cionel Perez against Aledmys Diaz to get the final out of the inning. HOU Sportsnet is brought to you by Rooms to Go. Furnish your home to perfection for $20 or less per month, plus interest-free financing. By Arctic, overbuilt, not overpriced. And by Nissan, innovation that excites. We are 5 innings away from the party starting. Julian Blummer in the clubhouse. Here from A.J. Hinch. I'll be down in the field. Quarterback in the situation, and maybe we'll have a guest or two amble out that way as well. We'll have wall-to-wall coverage as soon as this game ends, as Kyle Tucker starts the 5th inning and sends one high in the air into right field. On comes Grichuk. Pilar also over there, but it's the right fielder who makes the play. That's the play that didn't work out so well for the Blue Jays last night.
Ooh.
Billy McKinney was run into by Jonathan Davis for an error, and the Astros would take advantage, scoring 2 runs in that inning. Joe Biagini in his first full inning of work got the final 2 outs of the 4th. Good battle by Cionel Perez getting Aledmys Diaz to end the bottom of the 4th, and those 2 guys from Cuba had fun exchange on their way back to the dugout after that inning ended. Here's J.D. Davis. Looks like CNL is going to get at least one more inning. Nobody warming up in the Astros bullpen.
Looked pretty good throwing strikes.
Yep.
It's been a long layoff for him, but the velocity looks good, and he's getting in the strike zone.
JD flied out to right his first time up. JD just missed a home run in the series. Smoked a ball to left field at over 111 miles an hour on Monday night. Ended up with a single because he hit it so hard. JD led the Pacific Coast League with a .342 batting average this year. .96 at bats at the big league level, 17 for 96 on the year for JD with 1 home run. One and 2 the count. First game of the 3 with the roof open here at the Rogers Center. And you can see the wind kicking up at times during this game, but a beautiful afternoon. A little bit on the chilly side as we enter the beginning of fall up here in Toronto, Ontario. Two and 2 the count. Both teams with a single hit so far through 4 innings. And the count's full.
Couple of shake signs to the fastball as J.D. Davis ready. Good take.
A little bit low, ball 4. First base runner allowed by Biagini, and Davis on with 1 out. Go behind the scenes at Minute Maid Park with an Astros ballpark tour. Fans can check out areas such as our own broadcast booth, the press box, the dugout, the scoreboard, and more. Visit astros.com/tours to book your tour today. Here's Max Stassi, who struck out his first time up. Stassi hasn't made a start before today since August 29th. Martin Maldonado was acquired from the Angels. And then Brian McCann came off the DL. Stassi has found himself coming in a few times in the middle of the game, but hasn't had a chance to pick up a start before today. Max struck out his first time up. And after Biagini walked a batter, and he's 2-0 on Stassi, will get a quick meeting at the mound. So you have a flight immediately after our post-game show. You have all your gear you need?
Yeah. I've got throwaway shoes.
You've got shoes here that are going to stay in Canada?
Possibly, depending on the degree of moisture they encapture, which could be excessive. And then I've got brought my golf rain suit and a change of socks, change of shoes, change of shirt.
Good job.
My hair is going to be a disaster, which I'm okay with.
Could be sticky. It might just be.
Yeah, there might be a little product residue up there I could manipulate a little bit of it with.
How about Julia? Is she ready?
I'm never ready for this.
What?
You just go all in. See what happens. The things I've learned, though: waterproof mascara, towels, and I brought a blow dryer.
So you got to help Plummer with his hair.
And
thank you.
Complete change of clothes. Throwaway shoes as well.
Wow. Throwaway shoes. I've never thought about that before.
Disposable.
I always went flip-flops when I was in those. But yeah, you guys go throwaway shoes.
Well, I have flip-flops, and they're going to be throwaway after this.
I would keep mine.
Oh, man.
Just throw them in the wash. 2-2 to Stassi. The one thing we know, it's going to be capital F fun.
Oh, yeah.
Stassi in the left center field on the move. McKinney still on the move, and he reaches up and makes the play. J.D. Davis is going to circle back through second base, and he could be doubled up. Hits him, so he'll be safe. So J.D. with a couple of wind sprints returns to first safely. Nice play by McKinney in left.
Unfortunately, I was pulling for Max to get that knock in the gap and drive in a run. Ball hit pretty well from Stassi, but McKinney's got some pretty good wheels out there to chase that one down and almost double up J.D. Davis, but he picked the right running path to getting away. Right about there, you're saying, get big.
J.D. running hard, trying to give Max an RBI if that ball fell in, and still able to get back to first. Here's Miles Straw. He just missed a base hit his first time up. He was flying down that first base line.
He really was. Keep hearing about the speed. We're getting to see it here. Puts his head down. How does he blow the bubble when he's running?
I don't get it.
Is that aerodynamic?
No, that doesn't help his speed.
Statcast speed. How about his? 31.4 feet per second. Best ever by a right-handed hitter, 33.4.
He might have a base hit here off the glove of Biagini, and there it is.
Beat out a ground ball to the pitcher.
Miles Straw hits a line drive off the glove of Biagini. Biagini didn't know where it was, and with Miles Straw's speed, he picks up his first big league hit. Altuve is out of the dugout, almost in fair territory, asking to retrieve the ball.
Congratulations, Miles Straw.
Altuve's explaining to Mike Estabrook that's his first big league hit, and Mike is going to walk over and hand the ball to Altuve personally.
The negotiator.
There you go. The first major league hit for Miles Straw, and we will have a pitching change in this 2-1 game.
You're right. Hit a rocket up the middle. Biagini knocked it down, then could not figure out where it was. And by the time he could, Miles Straw passed first base. 30.9 feet per second in order to get that first big league hit.
As a pitcher, you have that internal clock, and he's probably thinking, okay, I've got time. And then he looks up to throw Hey, look, I don't have any time. I'm not even going to make a throw.
Bubble blowing speed machine.
Congrats to Miles Straw on his first major league hit. Jake Petrichka takes over. It's going to be Jake against Jake as Marisnik. Well, ground one towards the middle. Stopped by the shortstop. A flip not in time. Miles Straw's speed beats that play. That was a great defensive play and even better speed to be safe at second.
And it ends up being a base hit for Jake Marisnik, so that's speed helping everybody. And remember, he's got a lead off first base, probably an extensive one, but he gets a good jump. And as good as Urania did to knock that down and try and get the flip, not even close to being in time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's another dimension, isn't it?
I mean, most guys on that defensive play are out. I'd say 98% of the league, if not more. That's just pure speed beating out a ground ball that was flagged up the middle. So Jake ends up with a base hit. He's now been on base a couple of times in a row. The Astros have the bases loaded for Tony Kemp. Astros have their fastest two runners on base at first and second. Marisnik on first and Straw on second. J.D. Davis on third, but Kemp now down to the count 0-2. Just a piece to stay alive. After Kemp gets down to the count 0-2, he's still batted 192 this year and an on-base percentage of .250. So if you get him 0-2, the at-bat's not always over. He has made some good battles during the season once he gets down. The working counts.
Yeah, it's really been a unique skill. He doesn't panic when he gets down in the count. And again, it's also another Astro hitter having good command of the strike zone, laying off some pitches out of the zone. Helps you get back into some of those counts.
Kind of an excuse me swing and a foul ball. Astros down 2-1, but a chance to take the lead here. Any base hit to the outfield with Miles Straw's speed. That's an automatic 2 runs. Instead, Kemp goes down swinging, and the Astros will strand. The base is loaded. Halfway home, Astros down 2-1. Team enjoys a moment together after punching their postseason ticket. Joe Smith will reflect on his first year with the Astros, and we will head to Round Rock as the Astros hop aboard the Express. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded Friday at 5 o'clock, exclusively on AT&T Sportsnet. On we go to the bottom half of the fifth inning. Reese McGuire, Richard Urania, John Birdie facing Cionel Perez, who's into his third inning of work and is not allowed a hit so far. He's allowed a couple of walks. Facing 7, 8, and 9 in the Toronto lineup. And Cionel ahead 0-2. Lance McCullers Jr. expected to pitch one inning today. Begins to loosen up in the Astros bullpen. At this point, with AJ having wrapped up the division title and the #2 seed, he's going to try and almost work these final games with his, from a pitching perspective, like spring training contests, where he kind of maps out getting certain guys work certain days. And it's not really, you know, the Orioles, we already know, have the #1 overall draft pick. They're already lost 112 games. It's not necessarily critical for wins and losses. AJ would love to see them set the team record for wins in a season in Astros history, but he's going to get his guys the work that he feels they need to get ready for the postseason over the last 4 or 5 days here.
Yeah, and when you've gotten to the point of 200+ innings or 500+ ABs, it's just a matter of maintenance and keeping those guys right heading into the playoffs.
Reese McGuire hits one out to right field. For McGuire, that's his first major league home run. And he gives the Blue Jays that 3-1 lead in this game in the fifth. 23-year-old hits his first career big league home run. Bottom half of the inning after Miles Straw had his first big league hit.
It's always a special moment. Looks like Teoscar stole the seed shower from the Astros and brought it up here to Toronto.
Here's Richard Urania. Urania batting right-handed now against the lefty Cionel Perez. Flied out to left against Davinsky. His first time up. All the runs for the Blue Jays today coming on home runs. A 2-run shot by Randall Grichuk, and now the first major league home run for Reese McGuire. Urania fouls one back. Two and 1 the count. Cionel, just 22 years old, turned 22 earlier this season, back in April on the 21st.
We're going to peek back at that home run. First career major league home run for Reese McGuire on our Mattress Firm Supermo. Slowing down that hanging slider that he got a hold of.
Urania on the ground to Yuli, and Yuli's been perfect in a couple of plays over at shortstop today. There's one away in the fifth. Well, here's what we have for you, the final series of the season, with the Astros taking on the Orioles for 4 beginning tomorrow night. We'll kind of use it as an opportunity to break down that first playoff matchup between the Astros and the Indians. We will reflect back on memorable moments of the 2018 campaign, and also Garrett Cole tomorrow and Justin Verlander Friday will get their final starts of the season as they vie for the American League strikeout crown. Have AJ Hinch join us on one of those broadcasts as well. So try and have a little fun, give you game coverage as well, but we're also going to be really focused in on what the next step is for the Astros, and that's beating a very solid Cleveland Indians team that gave them all kinds of fits last year, and has, the pitching staffs for those two teams are right up there at the top of big league baseball.
Yeah, it should be a good matchup. That was actually the one last year I felt like we were maybe a little more concerned about than this year's, so to speak, because Boston has really shown to be one of the better teams in the American League, and all the question marks surrounding what the Cleveland Indians have done. They're a very good team, but the division they play in, not so good. And some of the numbers we'll talk about in that Baltimore series might show a little bit of that, but still not a team to be taken lightly because the pitching staff is good. They've got some quality hitters throughout that lineup.
Guys, I look forward to seeing what Garrett Cole and Justin Verlander do in their last opportunities to get a start in before pitching in the postseason. Garrett saying today he does not want to limp in. This is still very much a chance for him to sharpen some things and to get right before pitching in some of the biggest games of his life. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. And you mentioned they have a chance to match or beat that club record of 102 wins. This team thinks they can win every single game. And they really want to right here down with 5 left. That's what AJ challenged him before the game today in the short meeting that he had with him, saying, let's not create any bad habits with 5 games left. Let's play as hard as we have all year and try to win these games. And he's going to give guys a break here and there, but at the end of the day, they want to win and etch their name into the record books. So that's what they'll be doing over the next week.
Garrett needs 5 2/3 innings to get to 200 innings for the season. Look Ahead is brought to you by Wells Fargo. We'll be in Oriole Park at Camden Yards in Baltimore for this 4-game series, beginning with Garrett Cole tomorrow against the Orioles. Justin Verlander on Friday. Verlander's going to end up with 2 more starts at the end of the year than Cole, and right now Justin's strikeout total is 8 higher, 280 to 272. They are the second pair of teammates ever to strike out 270 or more in the same season. Only the duo of Curt Schilling and Randy Johnson doing it twice with the Diamondbacks. Has it ever happened before?
Just more history.
Astros doing all kinds of historic things in 2017 and 18. The wins on the road is about as impressive as it gets. Strikeouts in a season. With every strikeout the Astros add to that major league record. Today they have a total of 3 strikeouts, 2 from Davinsky and 1 from CNL Perez. CNL's 3-0 on Billy McKinney. CNL has 2 strikeouts now with that strikeout of Birdie. So 4 strikeouts for the Astros today. I doubt AJ would like to see Lance come in the middle of an inning, so he'll try and get CNL through this inning. This will be the last inning for Perez, and then it looks like Lance might have a tough part of the order for the Blue Jays to deal with. We'll see how this inning plays out. Lance McCullers Jr. about to pitch in relief. We haven't seen him in a while. Called 3rd strike. CNL wraps up his afternoon with a strikeout. Gets the last 2 he faces on strikeouts. Solid 3 innings. By Toyota. We take you back to the 2015 season when the Astros had lost 8 out of 11 and were in much need of a victory to try and get themselves into the postseason. They would go on to win 6 of 7 with Jose Altuve and Carlos Correa each hitting 2 home runs on this date 3 years ago.
It's when they really took the lead by storm, mostly with Carlos Correa doing it too. Now they're just a mainstay at the top of that American League West.
Back-to-back division titles, back-to-back 100-win seasons. 53 road wins last year, 54 more this year. As Correa is down in the count to start the 6th inning, facing Jake Petrichka. Carlos has driven in the Astros' lone run, a little tapping single up the third baseline. He also struck out. He's 1 for 2. And 1-2 the count. Carlos played 34 games before having that recent rest of 5 games to rest the back. He missed 36 games when he was on the DL. And the Astros hoping this time around he's able to let it go a little more. Just looking for a little more aggressive swings, and these final 5 days are going to be fairly important for #1 Correa.
Yeah, I think the initial thing he needs to get over is understanding that he can go out there and his back feels fine. Once he gets past that, then it's getting a pitch that he can driving it, see him barrel a couple of baseballs. But I want to see him aggressive in the zone and attacking some of these pitches. It's tough when a breaking ball backs up like that, though. But I like a couple of swings that I've seen so far from Carlos. And here's some of the numbers on Carlos Correa in the wins that he's been involved in. 319 average, 253 RBIs, and that OPS at 960 in 198 career losses that he's been involved in. A completely different story. It's really been a gatho-cacological type mix of numbers in wins and losses for Carlos Correa.
Interesting thought.
It is.
Yuli Gurriel with a 1-0 count. 0 for 2, a strikeout and a pop-up. And Yuli goes the other way, and this could be a 12-game hitting streak, and it is. Yuli singles to right field. And he's a 1-out base runner for the Astros in the 6th inning.
Nicely done, Yuli. Kind of got in on, but he still is able to fight it off going the other way. What you like is the balance from Yuli also. The only adjustment that really seems to be made when he sees the pitch is where his hands take the bat.
Yuli has a 12-game streak, and he'll get at least one more at bat to try and add to that multi-hit streak, which is at 6 games. Something's attacking the Shark in a role reversal.
What? It's not good.
Tyler White with a late time call had some sort of insect flying around him.
Something came out of his beard.
Strike called. Usually the Shark's the one on the attack.
Wow. B, killer B.
Strikeout and a fly out to left. Tyler coming in since the All-Star break at 309. Astros now up to 4 hits with Yuli's single. They'll trail this game 3-1. Well, if AJ would have been able to dial it up before the game and he wanted Lance to face the 3 toughest hitters And the three most veteran hitters in this Blue Jays lineup, that's who he will face. He's got Kevin Pillar, Justin Smoke, and Randall Grichuk due up, and Lance will get the 6th inning.
Hey, you feel like the test of just being on a big league mound would be enough. Now he's got to face some pretty decent hitters.
Three and one. White goes the other way, on the move Grichuk, and he makes the play. And now throw back to try and double up Yuli. Yuli gets back. Blue Jays outfielder is making some nice defensive plays in this game.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be like that. We talked about how good the Astros outfield defense has been all year long, and it's the Blue Jays outfield defense on display, chasing down some potential hits.
Going to be another big ovation for John Gibbons as he comes back out for another mid-inning change. Gibby with a lefty due up will go to the lefty in the bullpen as he manages his final game at home. Petrichka leaves in this 3-1 contest.
Customize your experience with home screen icons and features such as MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, and more. Download MLB at Bat today.
(3-1) Blue Jays game. Astros batting in the 6th inning. The lefty Kyle Tucker will face a lefty for the Toronto Blue Jays as they go back to the pen. John Gibbons got his 4th standing ovation of the day, and Tim Mesa is the new pitcher.
35th appearance, 40 strikeouts to 14 walks, keeping lefties down to that .228 average. Coming in special for Kyle Tucker.
And pitch gets away. First delivery from Mesa. That'll send Yuli into second base. That'll be a pass ball charged on the young catcher Reese McGuire.
Mesa throws hard for a lefty, averaging 94 miles an hour on his fastball. Also has a slider.
Tucker has struck out and flied out to right. Kyle 8 for 56 in his first big league campaign. Monster numbers at the minor league level. Tucker grounds one towards first. Tellez with the play, and that'll do it for the Astros. We are through 5 1/2, headed to the bottom of the 6th, 3-1 Toronto.
Season tickets are now on sale for the 2019 season. For tickets and info, visit astros.com/springtraining. TK.
All right, Julia, on we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning, and guess who we get to see come out of the bullpen? There he is. We haven't seen him in a while, Lance McCullers Jr.
Snapdragon is on the mound for the Houston Astros. That is a good sign. Get him an inning of work, hopefully. 22 starts this season, some good numbers. 138 strikeouts in 126 innings. Last time he was out there was August 4th against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Through 4 innings, didn't give up an earned run. Only 60 pitches in that game. Remember, it was that elbow giving him some issues.
And he comes out firing a fastball that's way inside and almost hits Kevin Pillar.
Trying to announce his presence with authority.
Lance had just eclipsed his career high in innings by a third of an inning right before that injury. Through 125 2/3 his rookie year. He was at 126 when he got hurt in that Dodgers start on August the 4th, and now we are seeing him for the first time in 7.5 weeks. Did pitch out of the bullpen in a couple of big spots for the Astros in Game 7 of the ALCS. Also pitched against the Red Sox out of the bullpen in the division series and went 3 innings in that outing, but wrapped up that series against the Yankees with 4 shutout innings, throwing 24 consecutive breaking balls to finish off that outing. Pillar with a count of 2-2. So this is a pretty important stretch here for Lance to show AJ that he's A, healthy, and B, effective, and can be a weapon again in the 2018 postseason. AJ expecting to see Lance for 1 inning today.
And with Lance, you want to see command, you want to see velocity, and you want to see that.
There's the curveball. The Lance McCullers Jr. breaking ball that we know so well picks up a strikeout of Kevin Pillar.
Good pitch from Lance. That's the one that they call him Snapdragon for, and it's a very effective pitch. And if that one is working well for him, that means the confidence is pretty good for Lance.
Now facing Justin Smoke. And the curveball in there for a strike.
It's a pretty good security blanket.
3 in a row. All strikes. That one a swinging strike. It's 0-2. Lance in place of Cionel Perez, who did well in 3 innings, only allowed 1 hit. The hit was a home run, but Cionel did a good job in his 3 innings of work. 1 run allowed on 1 hit, a couple of walks, and he struck out 3. Going heavy dosage of curveballs here. It's 2-2.
Still got some wicked spin to it too. Some sharp bite.
On the ground into the shift, Tony Kemp makes the play on Smoke. Lance has retired both batters he has faced. It is time to name that Astro, brought to you by Nissan. Here are today's clues. Speedy Gonzalez climbing the ladder stirs the drink. If you knew, Miles Straw is today's name that Astro. 151 stolen bases since 2015, 70 of them this year. And today's his first career start. Picked up his first career big league hit. Pop up on in the shallow center field. Kemp backs up and makes the play. Lance McCullers Jr. A 1-2-3 inning.
On Martin Maldonado, acquired by the Astros on July 26th. Now this guy is a fierce competitor on the field. You do not want to cross him. However, he does have a little fun sitting in the seat of a camera operator. That's the good camera down there too, the swivel chair. How much fun is that? He was getting some close-ups on his teammates, calling guys over so he could get the shot that he wanted. A little producing, directing in that chair. But Martin has done a lot of great things for the Astros since he's been over here, including working with the staff, all of the arms he's developed a relationship with. They've said great things about him, calling these games and really getting to know these guys as they prepare for each and every outing. But also, guys, he is really happy to be on a club that is headed back to the postseason. For him, he thinks back to his rookie year 2011 when he got a taste of it. Wasn't on the postseason roster, so this will be the first time for him, but that was the first time that he was in a clubhouse that celebrated with the Milwaukee Brewers back in 2011. It's been a long time. He's been on a lot of teams, worked with a lot of pitchers since then. He knows they have something special here. He's excited to be working with such great pitchers in this organization, but he like everyone else, will be excited to get in there and celebrate something so special and unique in the big leagues.
Yeah, I am looking forward to hearing from him post-game, because a lot of these guys were on this team last year from 2017. And as Julia said, on the roster in 11, didn't get a chance to play on that team. But he's going to get to participate in the postseason for the first time. And he was right in the midst yesterday. He posted on Twitter with that celebration when the guys were watching Seattle wrap it up against the Oakland A's. So, yeah, Maldonado, what a great addition he has been.
Yeah, he's definitely contributed since coming over.
Doing some handy camera work. He was on that thing. I think Julia's still open. He was on that thing a while, wasn't he, Julia?
That was a good 15 minutes or so. Yeah, he was having a good time. Was anyone talking to him on the headset?
No, he calls his own shots.
Okay.
He's used to doing that during the game. I'm sure he was the same way behind the camera.
Well played. J.D. Davis leading off against the new pitcher, Ryan Tepera, as we play the 7th inning in this 3-1 contest.
He looks pretty relaxed.
Yeah, he was locked in down there. Martin. We saw him earlier in this series when the jump shot has become a thing lately. Take a jump shot before he even got to the first base bag on a single to center. He enjoys playing the game and enjoys the culture that is the Houston Astros. Loose group. There is Martin Maldonado. Who does he feel like chatting with this inning? Looks like he and Yuli will catch up.
With Martin, you know, some guys when they come over to a new club, they'll have a relationship with someone they've played with before, or they've crossed paths with someone. Martin didn't really know any of the players well. He did know Alex Cintron from Puerto Rico, their days of working with the same agent and trainer. But other than that, he didn't have a close relationship with anyone. So he walked into that clubhouse, the new guy. I mean, of course, faced these guys a lot with the Angels. But he had to jump in quick as far as getting to know everyone and how they like to work, especially those pitchers and in those meetings. Maybe a little overwhelmed at first, but he absolutely loves how these guys prepare. We've talked about that a lot, but he is all in as a Houston Astro now. Yeah. I love watching this video.
He's a pitcher's friend, too, with the way he can control a running game. He is special behind the plate when it comes to cutting down runners.
Yeah, you know it's pretty good when the pitchers actually say that. That's one less thing they have to worry about when they have a base runner on the base paths, is trying to be quick to home plate or trying to work in that pickoff, because he's so good at catching and throwing.
JD with his second straight full count, drew a walk his last time up, flied out to right his first time. It'll be JD, Max Stassi, and Miles Straw in this inning. And JD tries to hold up, and he does. Second straight walk for JD Davis. All right, here's the work from Martin Maldonado's
He
camera.
did a great job of staying with that baseball. He was there at contact and stayed all the way through it. Nicely done, Martin. Never mind the batting cage.
Special camera operator to track a home run like that. Here's Max Stassi.
It's the first game he's ever done.
Stassi on the ground to third, and around the horn they go for a double play. In case they're keeping track, the Astros one away from their franchise record now in double plays.
Yay.
I kind of want them to get it now because the games don't matter. Just because it feels like they should have the record. It seems like we've seen so many double plays this year. Here is Miles Straw. This guy has shown his elite speed off in this game, grounding out to second, almost beating a throw, and then singling off the glove of Joe Biagini and not even having a play made on him for his first major league hit. can have a lot of fun with that mock-up baseball if they choose to, although with the celebration intact, who knows. Hey, Miles Straw, fair ball. Watch this speed. He might, nope, he's going to back it off.
Oh, I was hoping for it.
He was thinking about going for 2, and Grichuk got to the ball in a hurry. But how about Miles Straw in his first big league start, 2 for 3.
Couple of knocks. This one a clean base hit getting past Tellez down there on the first base line, but credit Grichuk. He knows about that speed. Got to that baseball quick, because about right here, Straw is saying, I'm going 2. Still think he should have tried. That's coming from a guy who never had speed.
Yeah, I would have liked to see him try. That would have been fun. I mean, Grichuk may have had a shot at him, but he would have needed a strong throw, because this guy's speed is unbelievable. Poor Jake. We used to talk about his speed in the past. Jake takes a pitch for a strike.
Yeah, he would have run anchor on the relay in years past, but I think Miles Straw is going to take that baton.
I agree. I think Jake's third leg now, handing the baton off to Miles Straw for that final leg. There goes Straw. Forget it. Don't even think about throwing. It was a fastball away. It was a tough pitch for Reese McGuire to handle, but even if it was a pitch down the middle, man, this kid's speed is unbelievable. 70 steals in the minors, his second steal as a big leaguer.
He's getting a pretty good jump too, but that in combination with the electric speed, no chance.
You know, who knows with this roster if there's even room to consider a guy like him, but it's at least an interesting thought about what a guy with speed can do in a postseason series. And I don't know if he'll make the postseason roster, but I think at least his name will be brought up.
Yeah, he's definitely a question mark for me. But it's a different season, and the guy in the box right now wasn't healthy this time in last year.
Jake goes down swinging to end the inning. 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 man left on base. The Astros trailing this game 3-1. It's 7th inning stretch time here at the Rogers Center. And we're going to send it back to Kevin Eschenfelder and Mike Stanton in our Rooms to Go lounge.
For dealers, and what an acquisition has Ryan Presley been for the Houston Astros in the last 20. 0 earned runs. This guy has been fantastic for the club since he came over, and really good on the road all year on the road. The .94 ERA for him away from a home ballpark is what you want to see from this guy. Used in high leverage situations. That happened very quick with his time over here, as AJ had the trust in him and said, I would use him against anyone in the league. And last night, used him in a big spot as they helped keep the score right where it is. But He said it's most obvious when it's the highest leverage situation. I'm going to go to Ryan Pressly for what he's done today.
Yeah, and you feel good about watching that guy every time he's on the mound. He goes out there and attacks. His strikeout to walk with the Astros has been phenomenal. He has been as good as advertised, plus some. 30 strikeouts to 2 walks after joining the Astros from the Twins. We have a new pitcher here in the bottom half of the 7th inning against Ramin Gudwan.
Seen Ramin a couple of times, but in Fresno this season, 43 games, you can see the 3-3 record. Another guy who is a swing and miss type when things are right. Fastball slider.
Rowdy Tellez lost one into left field, where Kyle Tucker waits for it and puts it away for out number 1. Kind of a good deal here for Ramin Gudwan. He wasn't on the team with the initial 2 waves of September call-ups, and then all of a sudden Framber Valdez had to pitch 6 innings the other day, with Charlie Morton going just 1 inning, and Gudwan gets the late call. Comes up here and joins the team in this series against the Blue Jays, and now he'll get to celebrate a division title.
Not a bad gig.
That's a great gig, especially for a guy who thought his season was over. Here's Aledmus Diaz with a 1-0 count. Pop up on the infield. Stassi runs into Diaz and still makes the play.
2019 season tickets are now on sale, and fans who purchase now enjoy benefits like guaranteed 2018 postseason priority access. Visit astros.com/season tickets or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
So Julia, Ramin thought the season was over, but not the case.
He did. He was headed home to the Dominican Republic. Found out that he was needed back here with the big league team as he was in the airport about to board his plane. So we actually got on the plane, flew to the Dominican, spent 3 hours getting to see his family, and then got back in another plane and flew to New York, and then eventually to Toronto to meet the big league club. Kind of a whirlwind, but he has no complaints. He'll see his family here in a few weeks, hopefully, after the season is done.
The old 3-hour off season and right back at him. Good for him, getting a chance to pitch at the big league level one more time and get a chance to celebrate a division title. Reese McGuire hit his first big league home run his last time up. Hit it out to right field against C&L Perez, only run allowed by Perez. Lance McCullers a solid 1-2-3 inning, and now Ramin Gudwan with 2 outs and an 0-2 count. Gudwan's a guy, if he can throw strikes, like his stuff. Strike command, fastball command hasn't always been consistent throughout his career. As that fastball misses at 97 up, but a lefty with that velocity, you gotta love that.
No, it's definitely something you can work with.
Looks like Dean Dietz might get the final inning here as he warms up with Gudwan pitching the 7th. Look out. Speaking of lack of fastball command, that was up around the head of Reese McGuire. It's 2-2.
Yeah, that's not good. Luckily, no damage done, and Reese McGuire pops back up.
Countdown is on today. It's kind of unusual to have a baseball game with relatively little at stake as the precursor to the big show, but that's our case tonight. Our big show is coming up after the game. The 8.5 or 9 innings of baseball leading in is just kind of the pregame show. We're going to start to get it rolling here in a little while. Upstairs is 3-2. Something very similar to this in about T-minus 30 minutes. Called third strike. HOU a 1-2-3 inning as he strikes out McGuire to end the seventh.
Stropole. As always, thank you for the follows and for voting. Which of the Astros regular season accomplishments over the past 2 years do you think is the greatest? It's the division titles. AL West titles win 45%. Thanks again. All pretty great.
Yeah, the road record getting a good percentage as well. 107 road wins. Need a rally today to add to that total. The Astros are down 3-1 as we head to the 8th inning. And Tyler Clippard, who helped celebrate with the Astros last year, is the new pitcher for Toronto.
Veteran right-hander, fastball, changeup, split, a lot of off speed.
Facing Tony Kemp here, and Tony takes a pitch for a ball. Tony playing second base today and batting in the number 2 spot in this day after the clincher lineup. Tony looking for his first hit, lined out, and also struck out. It'll be Kemp, Correa, and Yuli Gurriel, and a foul tip here. It's 1-1. This will be Blummer's last half inning up here in the booth. We start to put the wheels in motion to get the post-game celebration rolling. Blummer is going to start to head downstairs. Julia will eventually make her way down into the clubhouse. I'll be heading down to field level as well for the last couple of outs as Kemp has a count of 1-2. A rare day where you go into the day as soon as you wake up knowing there's going to be a celebration.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen often.
No.
You need the scenario of a team playing later at night after the Astros won last night.
Power Player is brought to you by TXU Energy. It's Alex Bregman. Just another phenomenal season, getting better this year with 103 RBIs, most by an Astro since Lance Berkman did it in 2008 when he drove in 106. Last year we talked about how many guys contributing. Marwin Gonzalez, the leader last year at 90, but this season Alex Bregman bursting onto the scene with 103 RBIs.
And increasing the entertainment value every interview.
Yes.
He'll be a target in the postseason celebration or post-game celebration with Blummer and Julia gathering interviews. Carlos Correa 1 for 3 in his return back after missing 5 games. Breaking ball from Clippard stays over Carlos's head. It's 1-1. Only 7 hits in this game, and the Astros have 5 of them. the 2 hits for the Blue Jays have produced 3 runs, a solo home run and a 2-run home run. Correa fouls one back. It's 1-2.
Another good swing from Carlos, though.
Jake has tied George in stolen bases.
Take a look back at Carlos's swing. What I like is that there's pretty good load to get ready to hit, and then really driving through the baseball, creating torque.
Better than you saw before the last 5 games.
Absolutely. There wasn't much of a load to get into that swing. Those swings much better.
All right, that's good signs. We said we were looking forward to Blummer's analysis of Carlos' return here to the lineup as a DH.
Well, before the back was hurt, he kind of drifted, like his upper body would kind of, and hands would drift towards the baseball. And he wouldn't really create that separation between the upper half and the lower half when he got the foot down. But here today, we're seeing a little more of a load. Oh, man, come on.
Carlos trying to get at bats and may have had one taken away by Mike Estabrook. He was not happy with that call. So you ready?
I am ready. I've got the rain gear on. I've got my rain jacket ready to go. And I've got a shirt that I'm going to borrow because I don't want to ruin the precious polos that I love to wear. Got to protect the gear, but yeah, I'm ready to go. It'll be exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. You and Julie will be handling interviews in the post-game celebration, and what an accomplishment. 2 years back to back.
Yeah, this is all you know as an Astro.
That's right. 100. I just know 100-win seasons.
Yeah,
that's all I know. Yeah, remarkable the 2 years we've worked together. That's one thing I woke up today thinking about is how lucky we are.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah.
To be a part of this right now in Astros history. Sometimes you don't enjoy it as much when you're immersed in it as when you can step back and see it 5 or 10 years later. But this is something historic. As Yuli sends one to deep center field, sending Pilar back. And that'll do it for the Astros in the top half of the 8th inning. Blummer's heading downstairs in this 3-1 game. TNT Sportsnet is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Arctic. Overbuilt, not overpriced. You can be an edge walker here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The top of this CN tower allows you to go to the very top and go out on the ledge with a little harness. And that is right across the street from the Rogers Center. We welcome you back inside the Rogers Center in this 3-1 game. Bottom half of the 8th inning, Astros trailing, and the new pitcher for Houston will be Dean Dietz. Dietz takes over here in the 8th inning, facing Richard Urania, John Birdie, and Billy McKinney. And the first pitch is a swinging strike. Dietz, appearing in his 4th game with the Astros, has gone 2 1/3 innings so far. Allowed 3 hits and a couple of runs, 1 home run. And a pitch outside for a ball. It's 1-1. Davinsky for 2 innings today allowed a 2-run home run, the only hit he allowed. Cionel Perez for 3 innings, only hit he allowed was a solo home run. Lance McCullers a 1-2-3 6th. Raymond Goudouin a 1-2-3 7th. And now Dietz facing the number 8 hitter Urania. Ken Giles is warming up in the Blue Jays bullpen. The former Astros closer may get a chance to face his former team here. Giles was the subject of a couple of stories during this series, as he had mentioned a lack of communication and was disappointed with his tenure in Houston, saying he's enjoying the game here more now with the Blue Jays. And A.J. Hinch came back and said he felt like Ken was wrong. Our league leaders are presented by Houston Methodist. Right now, with the Astros trailing by 2 today, these are updated. The Astros run differential is plus 262. The Mariners have the all-time record, or excuse me, the Yankees have the all-time record. This is for one entire season, plus 309, and the Mariners coming in at plus 301. There's a line drive into center field for a base hit. John Birdie has his first big league base hit with a single to center. The 28-year-old out of Bowling Green State. And the fans are going to give him a standing ovation here. They realize that kid just picked up his first major league hit. So we've seen 2 first big league hits today. Miles Straw, now John Birdie. Congratulations to the guy who has Johnny Hustle as his Twitter name. Playing in his first big league game. Now here's Billy McKinney. McKinney started his major league career right here in Toronto as a member of the Yankees. Happened earlier this season. McKinney was with the Yankees. Played a game here on March the 30th. His big league debut, was injured the next day, and then eventually traded to Toronto. Made his Blue Jays debut on August the 18th. Made his Yankees debut and his major league debut here in Toronto, and made his Blue Jays debut on August 18th against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. McKinney with a home run last night, accounting for the lone run for the Blue Jays. Today he is 0 for 1, a couple of walks, a stolen base, and a run scored. On the move, Birdie. This is lined into shortstop and will be an easy double play to end the inning. Yuli catches it in the air and doubles up Birdie, who was on the move. We will head to the 9th with the Astros down 3-1.
is presented by Mercedes-Benz. And of course, it's going to be Nolan Ryan on the mound, collecting that 5th no-hitter.
This may be it.
Artie Howe with a throw across the diamond to complete that, setting the record, breaking a tie he had with Sandy Koufax. 5th no-hitter became the major league record for Nolan Ryan. We all know that he would continue on and get 2 more, amazingly enough. And that's how you earn the nickname Unhittable. Nolan Ryan's storied career deep in the 80s in the rainbow uniforms for the Houston Astros. And there is the graphic that shows you who he was in competition with, tied up with Sandy Koufax at the time, eventually getting that 5th to break that tie and go on for 2 more. Pretty impressive stuff from an Astros legend. Interesting time here at Rogers Center right now. We are in the top of the 9th inning, and ex-Astro Ken Giles on the mound facing Tyler White, in a big swing early on, flying it deep into left center field. Not enough to get out of here, but a pretty good swing from Tyler White on a fastball from Ken Giles. Ken Giles on the season with Toronto, 0-3 with a 4.81 ERA. Right now, it's just a matter of time. Guys in the dugout stirring a little bit. Everybody on their feet. Get through this inning. Then eventually, the celebration will ensue. But Kyle Tucker digging in, looking to get a hold of one here against Ken Giles. Fastball hit hard from Kyle Tucker. Easy play for Urania, playing in a shift. 6-3 on that put out. 2 outs in the top of the 9th. The brain trust of the Houston Astros, Joe Espada sitting down. Brent Strom, pitching coach. A.J. Hinch, wild card bid in 2015. Last year winning the West. This year winning the West. J.D. Davis digging in. Fastball for a strike, 99 miles an hour from Ken Giles. A little bit of controversy with Ken Giles and some of the comments he's made since the Astros are back in town. AJ quick to point out that they've handled the situation as best they could, but departing and bringing over Roberto Osuna, basically a switch in closers for the Blue Jays and Astros. Slider, strike 2. Remember to stay tuned. Complete coverage of the AL West Championship clinch. It is going to be a celebration time. Houston Astros, champagne has been on ice since the 1st inning. Little mini celebration last night, but these guys are going to be able to let loose here later today. And here we go. Astros end up losing this game 3-1 to the Toronto Blue Jays, but that is not the priority. This dugout is emptying rather quickly. Last home game here in Toronto is going to be sent off with a celebration as the boys head up into the clubhouse gathering their gear. See some of the smiles on these guys as they head out. Mission accomplished 2018 for the Houston Astros. 100 wins on the season, 58 losses. But none of that matters right now. There it is. Tarps are up. It's going to be kind of interesting to see how these guys go about their business in finishing off this American League West Championship. You don't see the rush that you would normally see. Obviously not winning this game, they're unable to celebrate on the field, so they are taking this party hopefully up into that clubhouse where things could get a little bit rowdy if we know these guys well enough. Josh James, first year in the big leagues, gets to celebrate a Western Division championship. No protection for the beard, just a hat. On the field right now, they're giving manager John Gibbons pretty healthy send-off, standing ovation on the field. Deservedly so. We've said a lot of great things about John Gibbons, had a good tenure here, but it is over. He'll finish out the season. But the last game here, time to get the foil off the tops in that clubhouse as these guys get prepared. I would imagine AJ's got a little something to say, but before you get in the clubhouse, this day and age, you've got to go in there and you've got to get all the right gear. That means your championship hat, your championship t-shirts. Make sure you get your gloves and everything else covered up, because once you get in there and those bottles start flying, you know it's going to be a good time, and it's going to get, like Sparky likes to say, nice and wet.
Hey, Glover.
I think I've got a buddy down here now.
Ready?
I think we are ready.
All right, I think I'm taking over for you here. You're going in there.
I'm going to go join the festivities. Appreciate you coming down and picking me up, brother.
What a great year it's been, buddy.
It has been.
Go enjoy it. Go enjoy it. Blummer's heading into the clubhouse to get some interviews. We're going to be standing out here hosting from the field. John Gibbons just got doused with a little water shower as he is being interviewed for the final time here in his last home game. Hazel May interviewing Gibby, and the Astros are setting up for their postseason celebration. They knew last night that they were the world champions, and they are now going to celebrate today. So everything being secured over there on the Astros side. Goggles are going on. The postseason hats are being worn.